Oh, welcome back. Jazzy Jeff here, bringing you another special video. Just like in the last video, I'm going to throw his name out there again, Colin Richards, aka the man behind Markers and Monsters, the YouTube page. He makes and sells artwork at Colin Richards Art. He's got an Etsy page. Obviously, I'll include all that cool stuff in the details of this video below. So, right as you guys get done scrolling through all that, nobody seems to read it. But for those that do read it, that's where that information will be. Alright, enough bullshit. Let's get down to it. So this is part 2. Let's do this. So I'm just going to jump right in there. Once again, you guys have seen this before. This is the... So these were the 1958 sort of renewed. They did a renewal of them in the 90s. This is the 1991 Dracula tape. Once again, I'm sure you guys have seen this multiple times, so I'm not going to drag this out too much. But this is the only one of the classic collection that I have. Like the gray bar across the top, and if you look real close, you can kind of see the monsters there. If my phone focuses on that, but... Or not phone, the camera. I'm finally using a camera, but as you can tell, that was the 90s Universal logo. And I've always wanted that as a t-shirt. Like, that'd be cool as hell. I do own one other of the classic collection. I own the Wolfman, of course. This one is not sealed, obviously, like the Dracula one is. But once again, this is when it was restored, and this is one of the 90s tapes, so just to kind of give you guys an idea. I wish I had more of these. They're hard to find. They're expensive online. People are always asking for outrageous fucking prices of these. I love these ones a whole lot because the artwork on them is just absolutely phenomenal. They look beautiful. You just don't find tapes like this anymore. So that's it for the original Universal Monsters. Now, I do own the entire Mummy collection, excluding the first one, unfortunately, on these tapes. But as you can tell, I own both the Mummy's Ghost and the Mummy's Tomb. And as you can see, the banner at the very top there, it's got the Universal Classic Monsters, you know, logo right there. And then there is the back of the tape. So, these are in pretty good condition. Every time I take them off the shelf, though, they get a little more banged up. Every time I take them out, they get a little more banged up. There's not much I can do about it. You know, the whole world is dying and falling apart and burning. So, I do what I can. And then up next, I have the Mummy's Curse and the Mummy's Hand. So some more of the Mummy sequels, of course, involving lots of ridiculousness in general. These are a lot of fun. At some point, I'd love to do some like overall reviews of them, but mostly I just want to show you guys because the whole reason why I brought up Colin Richards was because he had asked me what Universal Monster tapes do you own? Which ones do you have? You know, I'm interested to know more about your Universal collection. So I figured he obviously is interested, and I figured all of you guys would be. And hell, if you're not interested, well, maybe this will be a great video to watch if you're having trouble falling asleep. Okay, from here on out, none of these are part of any kind of like series or any particular grouping of tapes. These are just all of my like individual single tapes. So I'm just going to blow right through them. So up first, oh great, this is awesome. So up first I have Hollywood Movie Greats. This is from 1987. Hollywood Movie Greats is a division of Good Times Home Video Corporation. There is the back there. Just another older tape. Pretty neat. I love that it's bright yellow. It just really sticks out. I love that it's in color. Cool stuff. You know, it looks ridiculous, and like all that looks like photoshopped or some shit. You know, the girl's like really tiny. He's huge. He's not really that big in the movie. So there you have it. So there is that. Up next. Okay, so now this is I actually have two of these. So this is the Universal Monsters tape that you guys saw earlier right here. So there's that back to back. So I actually own two of those. Before I found that movie set, I wanted to own all the Universal Monster films. So I just bit the bullet and started buying them online and finding good deals for them. And then after I got pretty much all of them online, I found the whole set at a thrift store for like $5. I was like, you gotta be shitting me. But I'm glad that I have this because obviously it's like an extra copy, or if one of my friends want to trade me for something, you know, if you guys are ever interested in trading me for tapes, tapes for tapes or tapes for games, video games or something like that, let me know. We can work something out. I will never say no to an offer. I will always hear you guys out. So, all right. Up next, we have the part 3 in the series, Son of Frankenstein. Obviously, you guys heard me talking about this earlier. So this is a MCA now, 1989 home video release. So now we're starting to get into almost the 90s now with the releases of these. Individual releases of these, which is kind of interesting because, like I said before, these have been released multiple times on tape and multiple times on DVD and video. So it's cool to come across all these different unique releases of them, as far as I'm concerned. And hopefully I can find more. So there's Son of Frankenstein. Great film, awesome film, lots of horror legends in this one. Bela Lugosi never gets enough credit. Really, really good. All right. Woo! Woo! I own the Phantom of the Opera. This is obviously another version of the one that I have. But this is part of the... This was renewed in 1970. But the tape itself is from 1990. So this is literally 1 year before they came out with the tapes like these in 1991 or 1992 or some. This is probably one of the last releases, just kind of on its own. So once again, it's kind of interesting just to see the different cover. I'll pull out the Phantom of the Opera here if I can. God, so much, but they look almost identical. They didn't really do anything too special, except kind of just clean up the look of the tape a little bit. It's a little bit more blurry looking here. It's a little bit more clear here. So there you have it, the Phantom of the Opera. Nothing crazy. So just another cool tape. Speaking of Phantom of the Opera, I do own Phantom of the Opera on tape. Now, this one is from 1993, made by Video Treasures. However, it is different from all of the other versions of Phantom of the Opera. This one is with a new soundtrack by Rick Wakeman, who is obviously known for his Yes fame. For all of you classic rock 70s, 80s fans out there, Rick Wakeman was a big part of Yes. He redoes the music for this. It's updated. obviously for that time. There's also this really awesome intro by Christopher Lee, which is fucking phenomenal. May he rest in peace. It's different. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely something that's worth seeking out. And this is one of those cool tapes that is lost to time. This is not on DVD. This is not on Blu-ray. This doesn't really exist anywhere else. I don't know if there's any other tapes of this. I don't know if they re-released this later on. But I'm almost certain this is the only one. So if you could find this, get a hold of it. If you're a horror fan, get a hold of it, because this is sort of a piece of horror history. And it's pretty neat because it adds a unique twist to the usual, 1925 silent classic starring Lon Chaney. So there is that. And speaking of Phantom of the Opera, I do own the original Phantom of the Opera, unaltered, the 1925 version, of course. This is by Good Times Home Video, and this one is from 1986. So this is one of the oldest Universal horror tapes that I own. The tape itself is extremely old, from 1986. Still runs and works really well. Another quick shout out, Austin Wilcutt. These are the tapes that you're talking about, the ones that were just built better and made to last. Look at that cover. I mean, that just says it all right there. I'll give you guys a moment to just let that sink in. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Amazing film. I talked about it enough already. Get out there. Watch that one. It sets the mood and the tone of the horror genre. We owe so much to the Phantom of the Opera. If it was not for that film, Hollywood and horror would not be what they are today, for sure. All right, man. And then coming up in the last, but of course not least, is one of my favorite looking tapes, is The Bride of Frankenstein. That's super, super awesome. It's really colorful, really wild, totally captures your eye. It totally encapsulates and captures the feeling and look of VHS tapes from this time, from this era. This is obviously renewed 1962. And the tape itself, I'm actually not seeing a date. 1986. So this is from 1986 as well. I think this one was also 1986. Yes. So you could actually argue these are the two oldest. I didn't realize this one was also from 86. These are the two oldest that I have. And you could tell they look old. The one on this side, The Bride of Frankenstein, is by MCA Home Video. The one over here, The Phantom of the Opera, that is by Good Times Home Video. Both really colorful. Both really cool. Gotta love it. Alright, now the final tape is not a Universal horror film, but it's right in the realm. I brought him up in the last video. It's obviously has to do with what we're talking about. And when the hell else am I ever going to get a chance to show this? Boom! We got the Nosferatu, ladies and gentlemen. The 1922 German silent era absolute classic, starring Max Schreck, Alexander Granax, directed by F.W. Murnau. There was a great documentary / pseudo documentary made about it called Interview. I believe it was called Interview with the Vampire. I could be wrong. But it starred Willem Dafoe as the monster, along with John Malkovich as the director, and just a ton of A-listers. It's an incredible horror film. Totally recommend people tracking it down. They do this movie really good justice, kind of talking about the behind the scenes and what went on. But This film, like I said before, I'm not going to get into it again. It is just a masterpiece. It is absolutely a classic. And it is a ton of fun. Nosferatu. Can't go wrong with that. Great tape to end on. Once again, if you have not seen this, go out and see it. The Symphony of Horror. So, that's it. That is all of my Universal Monster tapes. Universal Monster tapes, that is. I do have other Universal Horror movies, as well as a couple other studios and other tapes and stuff like that. But this is strictly just talking Universal Monster movies. I don't own any other tapes of the movies, and I actually don't own any of these on DVD or on Blu-ray. So these are the only way I could watch these films, which I'm happy with that. But at some point, I may look into picking up the DVDs and the Blu-rays, and if I do, obviously I may do a review on them or talk about them. So that's it, man. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope it wasn't too boring or anything. Please feel free to leave comments and feedback in the comment section below. Once again, thanks to Colin Richards and Colin Richards Art, aka Markers and Monsters, for providing me with the enthusiasm and the idea to make this video. And if you, Colin, have any more questions, leave them in the comment section below. Anybody else, you didn't like it, you loved it, you hated it, let me know. Put comments, like this video, and as always, keep on watching, keep on supporting. You guys are the best fans in the world. Thank you.